Welcome back to Sister Stitchers. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video than we've done before. This is Heidi of the Sister Stitchers. Lindsay will not be joining us for this video. This is a plan with me video. As you know, if you've been watching us for a minute, you know I am a big planner and Lindsay would prefer not to plan. And so I just wanted to try this format out, see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So our channel is about cross-stitching. However, today we will be looking at Google Sheets. We will not be looking at any cross-stitching for this video. We will be back next weekend for our monthly update. So let's dive in. Okay, so I've had a few people ask me about my spreadsheet. I went to a retreat and I was talking about it, and Lindsay said she also wanted a copy of my spreadsheet for some reason. But I wanted to show you what I've been working on and go through this, and then afterwards I'll probably do a little tutorial if you want to join in with me and use this format or still parts of this format. By no means am I an expert. I do use Google Sheets regularly in my job as an instructional coach and in educational leadership, so I use it to make my job a little bit easier when it's time to look at data and numbers. But that is not my primary job in any form. I'm not an expert. I'm an okay novice, I would think. I'm an okay novice. I'm mostly self-taught, and if I really want more information at work, I know the experts to go and ask, which is not me. So I will give you that little grain ahead of time. So what we're looking at right now is my WIP journal. So I put up some graphs. I made my graphs today. This is my January summary. It's a pie chart, and these are each of the WIPs that I worked on this month. And then within the pie chart is the number of stitches I did on that WIP, and on the outside it shows the percentage. So the percentage of stitches that I covered that month based on that WIP. And then over here, total stitches by month, we've only gone through January. I did put in some random test numbers for November just to make sure it was working correctly. I'll probably be deleting those shortly. But you can see that I did, for the month of January, I've done 8,154. I'm hoping to get in another 100 while this video will be uploading. But that's what I've done so far. It is January 31st, 2022 right now. All right, so my first sheet is my WIP list. In my WIP list, I got most of this sheet from No New Starts 2022. So I find a lot of joy in the competitive pieces and playing the different games on Facebook and even on other formats, and playing games. So it is natural for me to count my stitches at this point. Everything I stitch, I count the stitches because I report them out in some way or another. So I joined No New Start 2022, and a part of that, you had to go through each of your WIPs and decide what size they were based off of their rules. And so they actually put out this spreadsheet, and I made a copy of it and put that sheet here in my full-on journal. And so back in November, during my Thanksgiving break, I went through every single one of my WIPs. I took a picture where they were at in November. I recorded when I started it, so the name of my project, the designer, when I started it, the width, the height, those are the stitch counts, and then it does the math for me and tells me what type of width that is. And then I added an extra column for when I finished that project. I got to finish this month, yay! And then I also have just like notes, so which bag, and look, I don't know how to smell snowflake. How cute is that? There we go. Okay, so just so it's a quick reference, like where's this project? Okay, great, it's in my purple bag, got it, and I can get to it. I also am participating in WIPGO 2022, and the Novembers were Halloween at my calls were Halloween at January. Halloween at Hawker and Hollow, and then I wrote in how many stitches I actually have done for that project. because my goal is 2,200 stitches for each, or a finish, whichever comes first, because Red Barn does not have 2,200 stitches in it. I think everything else might. So it's 2,200 stitches or a finish, whichever comes first. And then if I get a bingo, I will reward myself with a stitching accessory. So that could be a bag, a needle minder, fabric, floss, fancy flosses, I don't know, whatever I feel like buying at the time. And so I'll reward myself with that. And so this month, for January, Halloween at Hawthorne Hollow was one of the focuses, and in this house was a focus as well. Now you're going to see on my graph, I did not actually stitch on in this house in the month of January. I started my whip go a little bit early. I know I cheated a little bit. It's okay. It's my own cheating, and whip go is your rules, whatever. Your board, your rules. And I did start in December while I was on break to kind of give me a little head start, because 2,200 is a lot of stitches for any project, and then to do that twice in a month is, I'm not going to make it. So maybe I will if that's all I focus on, but I know better. I know myself a little bit better than that. All right, so February, I've already went ahead and highlighted the February calls were Foxglove Loves Halloween and Maidens of the Season Spring. I'll show those in our update videos when Lindsay and I are together, so you can see where I'm at on those before the month begins. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump to January. So here's January. I already showed you my pie chart on what I worked on. I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of this thing because I spent some time really thinking it out. When I work on a project, I will go to my project list and I can pick out what I worked on, and I can do this on my phone. I usually do this on my phone. I don't normally pull out my laptop. But at the end of the evening, what did I work on? How many stitches did I do? And then over here, I have, I've already put in the sum if equations. So it'll automatically sum up all of my numbers for me for each project. So I don't have to do any math. I've already put all the equations in for myself. And then I have my monthly total, which also automatically sums everything up. And then here at the bottom of my sheet, I've kind of divided out my plans by week. So week 1, I'm hoping I want to focus in on any cell that I have, or I only have one cell really. And then after that, I have a lot of pieces that are like, I might want a tissue box. And so tissue box is a term where you start you start a piece of a series, and when you finish that one, then you start the next one in its place, and you continue to do that till you get through the whole series. I have a couple of series that I would like to work on and get through those. And so that's, even though it's not a real cell with other people, a cell, it means stitch along, it's, maybe I'll put in the place of that my tissue box project that I'm focusing on for whatever that is. Currently, I put Peppermint Purple Style of 2021. I worked really hard on that this month. I actually put a way more stitches in it than I had planned on. You can see over here I put 2,560 stitches into that. And that's actually, because it's Peppermint Purple, that is black work. So it was actually more like 5,000 something, whatever those numbers are. So 5,120 stitches, because it's a back stitch or a straight stitch instead of a cross stitch. And so that was a lot more than I planned on. I originally had planned on only working a day or two out of that week, and then the rest of the week I was going to work on Maidens Winter. So my Maidens of the Seasons are one of my oldest, and they're a little bit of a focus for me. They were 2016 and 2017 whips, and so I decided for whatever season I'm in is the season that I'll work on it for that first month. So come February, well, for January, we're in winter, so I put Maidens Winter, and then the style that I wanted to work on. I only wanted a couple of days, but the style actually ended up taking the whole week because I put so many stitches in there. So I kind of am going to change that up a little bit, probably. Also, week 2, I wanted to have a Heaven and Earth design, or one of my BAP focuses, and Adrift is my oldest one. I really want to get much farther in it than I am now. I did not do a whole lot of stitching. In fact, that was the one that had the least amount, 35 stitches. It's my little 4% slice right here. And that's because as soon as I started working on it, it started to hurt my neck. I don't think I've announced this on my channel, but over the summer I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease in my C-spine. And so sometimes it gets irritated or it gets too tight on me and will start to make my arms a little bit numb, which is not okay. So I had to stop stitching at that point because my arms aren't and hands are not working the way that they should. So as soon as I pulled out a drift, I started to feel the tightness starting. I only worked on it maybe, I think it was 2 nights. And then I was like, nope, I'm done. Not even, well, yeah, 2 nights. I was like, nope, I'm done. So I think I need to just, I don't know what I need to do. I need to figure out my biomechanics when I'm stitching on a drift. For whatever reason, my body was not happy with the way I was working with a drift. So I need to change that up a little bit. I don't know. So that's where I am with the drift. I did not get anywhere close to a week with a drift. I made it 2 evenings and I was done. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes if I can tolerate that and then move on to something else, like 30 minutes, like a daily 30 type of situation. I don't know yet. I've kind of been focused. I don't want to change my whip too often because then I lose momentum in my project. And I need to figure out the biomechanics with when I'm working on a drift. All right, week 3 was supposed to be a top 10 focus. So I want to get rid of my oldest whips. That's why I went with No New Starts 2022. I really want to whittle down my whips in general. And so I want to focus in on 1 week on one of my top 10. And look at that, a drift number 1. So I really need to figure out what I'm going to do with that project. And then for week 4 is like whip go and gifts. So I just put my 2 whip go projects in this last month, but I also have 2 gifts that I'm working on. Lindsay and I have been passing those back and forth for a couple of years now, and we really need to get them finished. I don't know. I probably will look at gifts. I for sure will look at gifts in February. More gifts than whip go. And then if there's a week 5, it was a stitch what you want situation. I wanted a little bit more freedom and not have every day planned out for me necessarily, but I need the structure. I still need that structure in there. So I wanted to give myself the freedom to stitch whatever I want to work on. And this month I pulled out Utah Sampler, and that's where I got my finish because I was really aching for a finish. I wanted to finish, and that was probably one of my closest pieces to get done. And in fact, I finished that in 1 evening because it wasn't a ton. All right, so that's my January wrap up and what my plans were, where my stitch numbers were at, and now I want to go into my February chart or my February slide. So obviously I haven't stitched anything yet. I will autofill those as I work through each day of the month. So here's the day. So tomorrow I'll fill out February 1st and whatever I work on, and then the stitches. And if I work on multiple projects, I have those available for me, and it'll auto add up for all of those pieces. Down here, let's talk about monthly plans. So my seasonal is still winter, so Maiden's winter. And my style is going to be peppermint purple style. I only want to get one. I do not want to do 2,500 stitches on that again, honestly. I'll probably spend 1, maybe 2 days on it. I want to get a month, 1 month block done and then move on to something else. So I'm just going to put 1 month, which honestly I could probably knock out in 1 evening, maybe 2, depending on how I feel. And then I really need to work on Maiden's winter because I did not focus on that. For my Heaven and Earth focus, I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put a drift in there, but I don't know. I might change that. I got to think on that a little bit more. I do have Night Cafe. Let's look at our list with some other. So one of my top 10 is Night Cafe, another BAP that I have. Japanese garlic shadowing, or one true, the one true. I don't want to work on that one this coming month. Yeah. Okay. Adrift really is my focus. I really want to get that done. But if it doesn't work out, you know what? If that doesn't work out, then I'm going to work on Zelda. It's not it's a large, and it is full coverage. So I will. That's my backup plan. If Adrift's not working out, I'm going to work on Zelda because it's the month of February, which is my husband's birthday month, and it is also Valentine's Day, and Zelda is a gift for my husband. So it would be nice to get a little bit more work on that project. Okay, top 10. I am actually going to randomize that. So let's go to my wheel of names. I just have numbers 1 through 10 because my wish list will tell me which one that is. So let's see what I would get. Oh, I'm re-rolling. Okay. So number one is Adrift. So yeah, I'm just gonna go to this. We'll do Zelda for my back week, or my hate focus week, and then we'll go with Adrift for my top 10 focus. Guess we're gonna go with Feeding Frenzy. I'm actually pretty close. I'm probably 2/3 of the way finished with this project. So I think a good week in this project. I've already completed top to bottom, and so I want to get a good amount completed there. And then stitch what you want. Well, it's February, so there are not 5 weeks. But if there were, I would probably still leave that blank unless something is really something I really want to do. I don't have my whip go. I'll probably put whip go here. Let's see, what were my whip go? I haven't worked on foxglove. I haven't worked on either of those. I'm not too worried about Maiden of the Season Spring because when springtime comes, which will be the very next month, well, it'll be more April. It's towards the end of the month. I'll start, and then, so I'm not worried about that because I'll have a couple of months to work on that. Foxglove loves Halloween. Will need some love. So we'll go with that. All right. Thank you for planning with me. That we've done, that's my February planning. If you are interested in the way that this is set up, hold tight. I'm going to show you how you can do this too. So in the comments, I went ahead and made a copy of my journal, but I took some things out. So I took out, on the first page, I kind of did instructions. So first you need to update your WIP list, and I'll show you. Under WIP list, you need to have a project name for each of your projects. I left all 46 that I like the numbers. The numbers really don't matter. What does matter is column B because that does feed into the other sheets in order for things to automate for you. And then I did cut out the no new starts equations because I stole that from somebody else. And so if you're in no new starts, you can easily get that from their files that they've posted. And so I just put start date where you have it, your bag. You can obviously change and edit this however you want. It's your copy. I've set it up so that you automatically made a copy using Google Sheets. Okay, so that's step one. You have to put it in your WIP list or something like it. Or you can go with 1, 2, 3, 4, however you want to do that. So my placeholder is WIP 1 through 4, but you'll want to put your own in there. All right, the next piece of that is go to the month tab. So for here's the month, you're going to update the count formulas in column K. And I've already done this so that you can see how it works. So in column K, I'll show you one of my older ones. I left all the formulas there. It doesn't work like it used, like sometimes you can create a formula and then you get this little plus sign when you go over the box and you hold it down and drag it, but it changes your ranges. So I had to go back and update all those ranges, and that was incredibly time consuming. So in this case, for project, whatever your WIP list is, so you would go down your WIP list and you'll just match them up. So WIP 1, and then you go to the formula, and in the parentheses, and it's 4 times, because I had 4 sets of columns here. So B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, I. I had to replace whatever WIP I had there, which was a drift, to WIP 1. So I can do it again here just to show you what that looks like. So this line was made in summer, but then I need to go in those quotes that are in green and change it to whatever I have placed there, okay? So I'm going to go place WIP 5, and then you'll do it 4 different times. So this is probably the most tedious part if you want to do this. This would take, I would plan a little afternoon to do this. Get your favorite drink and sit down and just update it, because you only have to do it once. That's the best part about it. You only have to do it once, and then it's there. And then, of course, if you add anything to your WIPs, then you would want to add that column. But the equation's already there for you. You just need to change it. Okay, so that was WIP 1 or WIP 5. I totally went out of order. That's okay. When you get the copy, you'll know what that's about. So, and then I go to my WIP list. Oh, look, I'm going to put WIP 5 on there. So I put WIP 5. I come back over here, and I can go down my list. There's WIP 5. So anytime you add a project, you worked on it that day of the month, and there you go. You place it in there. 500. Okay. And then it auto calculates for you. Auto calculates your individual WIP. I didn't put 5. And then it will auto summarize, sum up for you. And then it'll even automatically update your pie chart so you can see how much you've done there. Okay. And then at the bottom, I left this blank. I have the 4 parts. You can do whatever you want for monthly plans. It's yours, right? So once you've made this page how you want it to look for your month, then you would make a copy of it and you would duplicate it. So you would just come here and you would press duplicate, and then there's your new month. Okay, I recommend getting rid of all these numbers before you start duplicating. But then you can rename this as January, and maybe you can make this your master for your month. Okay, and then graphs. So I have month right here, and then when you start to add your new ones, then you can go to edit your chart, data range. I'm going to just put a comma, and then January, or Jan, because that's the name of my tab, with an exclamation, and then it's going to be L7 because I didn't L7, and then I'll get a new thing there, and of course it's exactly the same because I just made a copy over. But that's how you increase your graphs by month. All right, well, let me know in the comments if this is something, if you were able to take something away with this. I'll try it out next month as well, a plan with me video on my own WIP journal so that you can see what I'm doing and where I'm at with my progress. And if you are also updating, I'd love to know how you keep your progress, how you keep track of your progress. So have a great day, a great week, and Lindsay and I will see you next weekend. Bye.